word, and that's probably not the tone I should say it in either. I'm invigorated. Super excited to get the week started. I've had some self-reflection happening. So I've decided to really focus on the bags and make some stuff happen and see what I can do, what I'm capable of, like get my feet off the brakes and just start going and see what happens. So I'm really excited.
Michaela, how are you this morning?
Good. Very good. I've been up a little bit longer than you have, so I'm fully awake.
Fully awake and ready. I like it. And Gail, how are you this morning?
Not quite fully awake.
All right, well, you'll get after it. So obviously this is called the Rise and Thrive call, right? So this is the opportunity to get reoriented to what you're up to this week, get reoriented to why you are doing all the amazing things that you're doing, and have something new to take on for the week. So the quote for today is, money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but will not replace you as the driver. I'll say that again. Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. And that is an Ayn Rand quote. So what do you guys hear that when you hear that quote?
Sorry, I'm on the needing to thrive side. I'm so tired. That resonates with me because my startup is virtually out of money, and we are having to do everything without money as a tool, and it's tough, but I'm having to get extra creative. I'm still driving. We're still working. Mm-hmm. I have help. I have unpaid help, which is great. And we have enough to at least make our underwear, which is happening. So that's great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wish I had that tool, but I'm knowing that we don't desperately need it mm-hmm. at the moment. So that's good.
Yeah, great share. What else do you guys hear?
Can you say it one more time again?
Oh, I can't hear you, Kendra.
Oh, can you say it one more time again?
I still can't hear you. I'm not sure what's happening.
She said, can you say it one more time? I can barely hear her also, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're like a faint whisper compared to everyone else in the call. So the quote is, money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. Well, what I hear with this quote is similar to kind of what Isabel said, in the sense of yes, having money is why we run a business, right? It's the profit is the objective of having a business, right? It's to give us means to do other things that we're up to, similar to having a career. And if we are focused solely on our money and on hitting our sales goal, we can miss the point. And it doesn't matter if there's money in the bank or not. It's really a matter of what we're doing with it. How are we going after it? How are we making it happen? How are we using the other tools we have, to Isabel's point, to make things happen? It should be a byproduct of us doing all the things that we're supposed to be doing. So we can dial up or down how much money that is or isn't. We can dial up how much profit there is or isn't. But the actions tend to be the same. It's just a matter of what price tag are we putting on things, right? So it reminds me that, money is, it's not oh, we set up the website and it'll just happen and I can sit back. That's not how it works at all. So being in business, and there's a momentum element to it. that we are the ones that we have to be responsible for that, if nothing else. When you think about yourself as the driver in your business, how does that make you feel?
I feel like it means like you have to be ready to either pivot or change your focus or just be able to change and be nimble and be able to know that like, hey, just because money's coming in doesn't mean it's like, it doesn't even mean you're making the right thing, like, or it doesn't mean that you're fulfilling like the purpose that you wanted. Like one of the things, even just camping this weekend just reminded me like why I'm doing it. And like having all the goodies, like I actually stuffed one of my bags with all the stuff that I keep telling people they can do, and it ripped, but then I realized that I didn't actually finish that bag. That was a photo shoot bag. So I'm like, all right, well, it's missing a couple of things. But anyway, but like getting out there and actually doing the things and remembering we happened to be out there and we didn't know it at the time, one of our customers, he was out there bike packing, not with our bag, but with all his big giant things. But we randomly ran into him and he's out there adventuring and he saw our posts and, you know, we've been chatting with him about it. And it just was like, oh, wait a second, this is why we're here. Like to actually like connect and show people that like you can get out. And even if it's a 50 mile, if it's 500 miles, like you can get out and do what you need to do and fulfill whatever purpose you're looking for. So it was nice because it's like, well, yes, I want money, but I also want experiences more than money. So that's kind of how I feel about that quote.
I love that. Experiences more than money. I'm writing it down as a good reminder.
And I also, this sounds weird, needed Isabel's underwear for this trip.
It's coming. I swear it's coming.
I was like, oh my God.
I think of you every time we're in this because I'm like, we don't have any money. Like, but you'll have it by the end of the year.
It happens when it happens. It'll show up and I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you for your support.
Of course.
Isabel, when you get a chance, can you make a commercial with just these hot days and women just being out in the world and just it being hot? And
yes.
having let that be a moment where you have to just do a swap.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
I feel like this quote resonated with me in more than one way. And one of them is the you as a driver. So money as a tool and you as a driver. Money as a tool is interesting because when you have money, you want to hold on to it like it's part of you. And as a business, it's really hard to do the letting go part where, you know, the last time we had this meeting, you said something in regards to 60% of the money and then 40% of the money. So 40% of the money is your income and 60% is like business income that can be circulated. And then at every little point along the way, when I'm first starting a business or whatever, all of it's my money. You know, like, I don't want to let any of it go. I don't want to pay for this and I don't want to pay for that because that's my money. But then you see how the business can grow as you use that tool to kind of drive you in an upward direction, right? But on top of that, you as a driver, it's interesting because as I'm trying to chase the money or I'm trying to focus on the money, I'm not focusing on myself as the driver. And the whole point is that if I don't exist, then we're going nowhere, you know? So when I'm thinking of that quote, when it says you as a driver, I think, dang, yeah, I know I could make more money, but if I don't start focusing on myself as the driver, then what is the point? You know, if I don't start sleeping, if I don't start eating healthy, if I don't start making sure I get some sun, you know, or surviving, so I'm too busy answering emails or just kind of running myself into the ground trying to chase, you know, these numbers. Not completely, but you know what I'm saying. The point is that I feel like I can have the possibility to give money more concern than I give myself on a 24-hour basis. And if I'm the driver and it you know, that money doesn't replace me, AKA the business doesn't exist without me, then I need to make some changes.
completely. I mean, I see with a lot of the conversations I've been having with my private clients the past couple of weeks, there's a lot of resetting going on and kind of redefining what people are doing and why, and like how thinking about how they can powerfully close out 2020 and already start creating plans for 2021. So we will be doing some strategic conversations in December. And I would encourage you guys to start doing strategy for 2021 now. The goal should be to get at least a quarter ahead of like what your goals are and what you want to be creating, especially for anyone that has partners or support in the marketing space. Or if you're doing product creation, it might even be longer. But yeah, it's like remembering why, right? So all of what we're doing, if we lose track of the why we started in the first place and how that impacts ourselves, our customers, and other people in our lives, the passion, the purpose of the business can get lost. Now, all of that being said, this whole month is about mind your money, right? So even though we are the drivers, part of being the driver is that we kind of have to be in charge of the money, right? We can't just let it be this thing that like happens over there and we avoid it because we're afraid to look at a spreadsheet. So there's a lot of conversations of like, and I think you'll see this as a quote in some of our marketing that's coming up, but there's a lot of people who are afraid to look at their numbers. I had a new client come on board recently and we did that exercise for the first time of like looking at her costs. And she was like, I don't want to look. Like, open your eyes. Like, it'll be better once you see it. And, every time people see their numbers for the first time, there's a different feeling you're going to have, right? There's, oh, that's better than I thought. Or, oh, this business isn't going to work. So just remember as you're starting to go through all the exercises that are about to start coming, that numbers are not good or bad. They're just what's so right now. And the fact that we're looking at them means that we can manipulate them and move them because we're the driver. The numbers are a byproduct of the actions that we're taking. So how can we look at the numbers, be strategic about them, and make choices? A great example, if you're looking at your line plan and you realize, like, if I don't double how many products I'm selling or making, I'll never hit even my baseline sales goal. So what do? You can increase the units or your customers. You can increase your costs. You can cut your costs. Like, there's all these choices you get to make. So by seeing your numbers and looking at them and even just putting, made out of thin air goals on paper, you're now able to start being powerful again. People have asked why I do a budgeting course or we have budgeting workshops in a business setting. And it's because the first way for people to get empowered is often through their business or their money. Because there are two things that we can take actions on right away and start seeing changes today. And so if we keep coming back to what are things we can change? What are things that we're actually the driver of? And are we taking the actions that we have the ability to do? And I think this actually parallels really beautifully with the conversation that we had on Friday. And thank you, Mikkel, again, for your infinite wisdom. But, we can be the driver in a lot more places than we think we can, whether it is, money, our business, our families, in the society, anything that we don't think is working or anything that's not actually optimized in the way that we know is possible or believe is possible, even if we don't see it yet. That means if you can see it, that means you are the driver. Like, that's the part we miss sometimes. So this is why if you see something that seems weird from a business perspective, or like, why doesn't that exist? Isabel, perfect example. Like, this is dumb. Why doesn't this exist? Oh, you saw it. It's yours. Now you got to go run with it. Right? So it's good and it's bad because it all ties back into that quote of we're not going back to brunch because we're going to be working on our business, working on changing things, working on, holding the line for when we see something that can be better or be more fun or whatever the thing is that we see an opportunity to fulfill. how many of you are driven by seeing something that can be, that's either frustrating or could be fixed or could be better, or like more people should have? Right? All of you. I know all of you do it because you've said it yourselves, right? So if you haven't yet, please go read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, because this, and there's a link in the Powerful Ladies library in our community. So if you purchase it through there, like I think 5 cents comes back to us to put into the membership. So thank you for your 5-cent contribution. But there's power in that book about how when things cross your path and they get either like a bee in your bonnet, or they stick with you, or they keep poking at you, there's, whether it is, again, a conversation to have with the person in your life, something that's wrong in our culture, society, something that you just know should exist, like why doesn't this? There's something powerful in the fact that you saw it. And it ties back to, in our clarity kit, about what makes you a unicorn, what drives us, and the fact that we all see things so differently. So think about that as you're going through it all as well. Because what you see differently ties into your value proposition, which ties into your ability to get more of the customers that you want, because you are unique. So coming full circle, based on this quote in this mini conversation today, what are some things that you guys see that you want to either take on this week, or you want to look at, or you want to take an action on? Yeah, go ahead, Allie.
I'm saying this out loud, so I'll actually do it. I am going to do my line plan. I have done, I've done one for one of the bags, which they're all about the same. And I picked the most expensive one so that I'd have that first. But I need to actually go and then put that into like page 2 of the document. I can't remember what it's called offhand. It's Monday and I'm still on my first cup of coffee. But I'm doing it this week. I will have it done by Thursday for at least one style, one bag. I will have it done.
Excellent.
Because I feel better knowing, like, after we did that exercise on Thursday, we're just looking at like, how much money do I want to make? Having that number and like, okay, 14 bags a day I need to sell. Like, okay, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And then do I need to raise my prices or not? I don't know. So yeah.
I love it. And quickly, before the rest of you share, it came up in one of my client meetings about the 1.6 factor. So timesing your ideal income by 1.6 only applies if you are like in a solopreneur and you don't really have any staff, right? Or if you don't have a lot of product. If you are going in the other direction, it should be higher, like a 1.9. It might even be a ×2. So, you know, I'm thinking about who would need a bigger budget based on knowing your businesses. Kendra does, Isabel would.
I'm pretty sure I do, because I was even talking to Mark about it and I'm like, wait, 1.6, that leaves me 60 grand. Like, that's not enough to like pay someone to sew eventually, hopefully what I would build up to. So I'm like, I think I need to adjust that.
Yes. Yeah. And so it, as I said on the call as well, like if you're a service-based business where it's just you and you're not really outsourcing anything, you might even be able to go lower to like a 1.4, but 1.6 is at least a baseline to start. And then as you look at that number and start dividing up that 60% and seeing where it can go, it starts to shift. So I do think 40% income when you are starting off as a small business is where you should be. And so as you keep growing and your business is expanding, like how do you might end up closer to a 10% factor based on everything else. So I know like Kendra, you know, I've worked on that a little bit. So I think it'd be great to look back at like, where are you falling? And it's also great to check back in. If you guys see that number, the number is set up where you guys make more money than anything else in your business. And this is important because I know that all of you will sacrifice your own income for the business. So I do it myself. So we have that extra buffer that we put under your income, I know is the first thing that you'll move over if you need to. So we have to be careful about that because it's so easy to slip into a position where suddenly we're getting paid less than people on our own team. Like it's happened to me, it's happened to Kendra, right? Like it's so easy to happen. So while it might seem crazy, like how am I bringing home 40% of all the money? That seems outrageous. This would never happen in a corporation. You will watch how quickly you sacrifice that 40% and how much you need to get back to it. Because again, you're the driver. And as Gail said, if you don't have enough money to enjoy a day out in the sunshine or to go to dinner with friends or to do the things that re-energize you, it's going to be real hard to keep that wheel going. Okay, so back to you guys. Who else saw something that they're going to take on or look into from the yes, Isabel.
I am noticing that I basically would like to start doing research this week. I don't know really how yet, but I'm noticing that we have a lot of fans and like potential customer base that are like on board. They love the product, but they want to wait until it fully launches. Like they don't want to pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to go into why. Like we keep offering incentives, like here's a discount. Now we're doing perks. Like granted, it's so much easier with paid marketing, which we don't have. But I just would like to try and figure out like where's the disconnect there? Like why don't people want to support us now and just wait? So I'm gonna try and ask that question this week somehow.
Yeah. And may I offer a piece of advice?
Yes.
I would even look at for yourself, maybe they aren't doing it now because they don't realize how urgently you need the money. And sometimes there's like this fear of telling people how much we need something to happen now because what they'll think of us or the business not being stable or something else, when it's like, no, if you love this, you might want to do it now because
I don't want to seem desperate. Like there's this fine line between like seeming desperate, but also like having an elevated brand. Like I wonder if people look at us and they're like, oh, they're fine, I'll just wait. But like, where's the like line? Like we have to have an elevated enough brand to make people understand like why there are boutique prices right now. But then like also seeming desperate. Like I don't know where the line is. But yeah, that's a good call.
Anyone have feedback on that?
I don't know if you can hear me still. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. What about like Kickstarter, one of those brands where people like the whole point is to pre-sale it?
So we already did.
And I think I have like 10 Christmas presents that I have no idea about on Kickstarter. So.
We did a crowdfunding campaign. Like we've already done an Indiegogo. I guess we could do another one. I don't really know how that works, but that's a great idea.
I feel like people have like second rounds. I don't know how that works either, but just an idea of like where like the intent and people are already bought into the idea of pre-selling.
Right.
You don't have to convince them.
Thank you. Yeah.
I also think that there is a separation between elevated and pricing and like what all this means, right? Because I don't think customers would be surprised that a startup new innovation is expensive because everything is when it first starts. So, and I don't know how elevated your brand needs to be for people to still see it as aspirational, right? Like there's like all these levers. So I think it's okay to have a conversation that kind of looks at that. Like, where do you really need to be for people to respect the brand the way you want them to and understand that it's new and support's needed and they can be part of the mission. Yeah.
I have another idea too. I think I heard you mention like a couple weeks ago that you didn't have samples available, but can you get some kind of person that's already like can attest to the product, like almost like an influencer or someone in your field or someone you may know, and then that person's attesting that they bought it, and then everyone else can go off of, oh, well, they already had it, they loved it, and I should need it too. It's like social buy-in.
Yeah, we can definitely work on that more. It's been tricky because nobody has the underwear yet. It's like they've bought it and they love it. Like we have friends that have worn our old samples. But yeah, we can definitely tap into that more for sure. Thank you, Kendra. That's really good feedback.
Who else?
I was also just thinking, because I did buy them. I don't have them, but I could even like, I don't know if that's any helpful if I even just like repost what you're posting and then say, I'm super excited about that.
That'd be great.
I don't know if that helps. It's like a pre-testament
Yeah.
to what you're doing, because I believe in it. I think
Thank
it's
you.
awesome. I actually have a bunch of underwear cut out and I was like, wait, I could make a pair. I would never market them or try to sell them because you're doing it, but I was like,
We're desperate.
That would be awesome. I'll talk to you offline about that.
okay, awesome.
I have no idea why you guys haven't collaborated already, considering the fact that you guys have a very nice overlap in your business with the people who are bike riding and the people who are out. And then also the people who need to change their underwear real quick and can put those underwear in that bag. You guys need to do a collab.
I think it would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Also, because I think that on our Valle page, I have a lot of dudes. So, and I want to get some more women in there. So I think like even just crossing over on some of it, like,
Do a
Yeah.
I mean, I don't-
giveaway. Do a
What?
giveaway. Do a
Yeah.
Oh,
giveaway.
that'd be
oh yeah,
great.
there you go.
Bags
Yeah.
and that, and then try to see if we can cross promote each other's pages.
It'd be
I love
awesome.
it.
It'd be
Let's do it.
rad. Yeah.
Let's do
I'm
it.
down. I'm down. We could start with the vag health. The guys will
Yeah.
be like, what? I'm like, guess what? Your partners. They need a
I
healthy
know.
vag.
Dudes love their bike bags.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, and Isabel's partner, I know as a regular cyclist, like he tells me more about LA cycling people. Like everyone I recommended to you, Allie, I think Kyle actually recommended to me ages ago when I
Yeah.
was working with Project Bike
That
Club.
was a big bike.
Oh, randomly, a girl hit me up for a bag and she works with Project Bike Love. So I made her a magenta and black bag after you mentioned Project Bike Love. And I was like, wait a second, I've been to their events. Like, I know them.
All right, I love this. It's all
Yeah.
happening.
It is. It's awesome.
It made me think also, Allie, that the same testimony that you kind of gave this group at the beginning about, I wish I had my Switch underwear.
Yeah.
Isabel, you could do that with all the people who have already purchased underwear. So combine what Kendra's saying
Yeah.
with what Allie already did for these pre-testimonies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you broke up when you said that. Can you say it
Oh,
one
yeah.
more time?
I was saying you combine what Kendra said with what Allie said earlier, and you have all these pre-testimonials. If you ask everyone who bought a pair to video why they bought them
Oh yeah.
and why they're
Such a
supporting
good
it. 'Cause
idea.
Allie literally just had a situation where she's like, damn it, why don't I have these yet?
I would have loved them because lately, every time we also go camping, this is probably TMI, I start my period the day we leave. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
The
So it's
whole
like
thing.
in combination with that, I'm like, oh my God. 'Cause-
Side note, I really want to collab with a company that does bike shorts eventually because I want
Oh.
to create a kit that has one pair that's chamois lined
yes.
for like commuting to work, like where you
Yes.
don't want to wear a full bib, but you just want to
Mhm.
wear, and then you have your regular pair that you switch into.
I feel like Machines for Freedom, if you don't
Yeah,
know,
that's who I want
yes,
to collab with.
they would be perfect. They would be perfect. Or even Outdoor Voices. I don't know. I've heard they've
Yeah.
had some problems, but Machines for Freedom would be the one. I got an email today and it's all their photos of like all different types of people on women on bikes. And I
Yeah.
responded to it and I was like, thank you for showing lots of women on bikes. Like
They're so
not
great.
just super fit, skinny
I met
ladies.
the owner one. Yeah, they're awesome. I was next to them and like my booth was next to them once
That's
at
awesome.
a LGBT center thing.
Yeah, that's
It
awesome.
was cool. Yeah, great ideas, ladies. Thank
Why
you
don't
so
the
much.
two of you tag
Yeah,
team
just
them
kind of
for a
like having, like,
collaboration?
having like some kind of Facebook ad that's more like the ones that go viral and it's like some like really dorky video but on purpose, and it's like these people like frustrated with their underwear or something, and it's like black and white, and then it goes like, well now like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I
Like,
need
the
to do
ones
my
that are
video.
watching Shark Tank, they're like, oh, this would be like a perfect viral Facebook thing, and like that's what I picture your product as.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I need help with video so bad. That's such a great idea.
But those can be like really low cost, like dorky videos, like on purpose, and that'd be like
Right. Totally.
Well, we have run out of time this morning. You guys had great shares, great contribution. If anyone else knows what they're contributing to for this week, you can put it in the chat so we can all see it real quick. But otherwise, this week, we have a big week. Wednesday at noon, we have our business budgeting 101. Thursday, we have our first group call diving into that. So we'll kind of take that workshop and then deep dive into it so we can answer more of your individual questions on Thursday. And your worksheet will also, or template for this will also be there on Wednesday. It'll be released just after the workshop is complete. So big week to start looking at numbers and getting, moving from being like, I don't know what's happening, to like having them and having the right ones. And we'll start looking at it. And then we start to get being powerful and back in the driver's seat. So we're in charge. You guys ready? All right, awesome. Great call, guys. I will see you on Wednesday.